Alan mentioned, it was my 13th time. I started in 2010 with, we can go to the next slide. I started in 2010 with, thank you, the congregation where I was worshiping when I was doing my degree at UVA. Rugby Avenue Church of Christ got me started. This is just a map to show you where Guatemala is. It's kind of like due south of Louisiana / Alabama. You come in a little closer, you can see Guatemala shares a border with Mexico to the north, Honduras, and El Salvador to the south. So when we go to Honduras, we're just right next door with our other mission trip. This is the organization that we travel with, Health Talents International, like the video mentioned. They're the only surgical unit that is run by the Churches of Christ in the Western Hemisphere. They have a great website. You can read about their vision and their objectives. Number one is to preach the gospel through medical evangelism. This is the compound where on the top part of the slide, you can see the hospital, the bottom part with the open part in the middle of the courtyard, that's our dorms. So we stay in these dorms connected by a cafeteria area to the big hospital on the other side. Like the video mentioned, it's a land of great beauty. We can walk from the hospital to this swinging bridge that crosses that river. Oftentimes there's trash in that river. There's people bathing, washing their clothes in that river. But on the right-hand side of your screen, you see our commute to work every day. We just walk from the dorms straight across through the cafeteria, through this little breezeway to the hospital. And in the early mornings, I had the 6 a.m. shift. So I could look up every morning and I could see not one, but two volcanoes in the distance. So it's a land of great, great beauty. Some more pictures of volcanoes, daytime and nighttime. You can see a little lava there. The people are also beautiful. The girls and the women especially wear their traditional clothes from their different villages. They can identify each other by their traditional clothing. They know what village they're from and what language they speak. There are about 20 different indigenous languages in this country that's the size of West Virginia. So I know we make a lot of fun of West Virginians, but just imagine if everybody in West Virginia spoke 20 different languages. That's basically Guatemala. But life there is hard. People live in very poor housing, dirt floors oftentimes. No access to medical care or education is often limited. Like the video mentioned, elementary school is free, but past that you have to pay. And even to go to elementary school, you still have to have a uniform and your school supplies and book bags and things. If the family can't afford that, then the child doesn't go to school. So Health Talents also offers a child sponsorship program where you can read about on their website as well to help keep children in school. All the children that are sponsored through this program are members of the Churches of Christ. Their families are members of the Churches of Christ all over the country. The church is well established there. I got to meet with my mom's little boy that she sponsors with the soccer ball. She sent him a soccer ball. And then I got to meet my little girl on the right, Allison, with her school supplies. We take them a little gift every year. The church is well established there. Right across the street from the hospital is a Church of Christ, a beautiful building. We were a team of 9 people from Virginia, which was pretty good. The ones in the center are from Charlottesville, and then the Ponds and Teresa are on one end, and I'm on the other end. There's one little lady in the back, Ellen. She is a friend of mine and Teresa's that we work out with. She's a nurse, a retired nurse from Prince George she's not a member of the church, but we just asked her if she wanted to come with us, and she did, which is a great evangelism tool, is to pull people in as volunteers so they can actually see the gospel being enacted right in front of them. There's a surgical clinic every month in this hospital in Guatemala, and Christina's going to talk to us about this life in the OR. But every month they do a different specialty. Like we were there on a general surgery week, but they do eyes, they do ortho, they do ENTs, they do the plastics week where they do the cleft palate surgeries with plastic surgeons like you saw in the video. So every month there's a different specialty, a different team of maybe 40 to 60 people going down from all over different states from the U.S. All right, and Christine is going to talk to us about the OR. Next few
slides. So I was just going to kind of tell you how the operating room runs. So within the hospital, they have a operating room suite that consists of 3 operating rooms, which is nice because it's the only place in the whole area that's air conditioned. So we got to enjoy that. During that time that we were there, we completed a collective 52 surgical procedures between the 3 rooms. And that was just between Sunday afternoon through Thursday morning. So 52 surgeries that we were able to provide. My room usually would perform about 6 surgeries a day. So we would do 3 in the morning, break for lunch, and then 3 in the afternoon. And so the other 2 rooms would do much of the same thing. The very first procedure that we completed was a unilateral or one-sided mastectomy on a lady that had gotten testing in Guatemala City. She appeared cancer, but they had biopsied her, told her that it was negative, but she was in an extreme amount of pain. And the physician was like, hey, you really need to just have this breast removed. And we were able to provide that to her. I don't know what the outcome of her pathology was, but this procedure could have been potentially life-saving for her. So, and then the other procedures that we did consisted of hernia repairs on children, adults, mass excisions and cyst excisions, just kind of some generalized procedures. And then during that week, we also had a GYN physician that was there. She was able to complete several hysterectomies and some pelvic floor work for the women that were there. In this picture, you can see I'm on the left picture. I'm in the back there. I scrubbed with the general surgeon, Dr. Smith, and then Chris is there on the left. They joked with me because I gave him such a hard time while we were there because I wanted him to, follow the surgical procedures. But and then there we are. I believe we were performing a hernia repair on a young child with Dr. Smith. And that's what we did a lot there. They've seen that a lot of children there just have a genetic abnormality that a lot of them develop hernias. So we were able to help them kind of fix those. To the left, there's a blog post that HTI put up just after we left. And this was our team. So we all week worked with the same team, which was great. Dr. Smith there in the green scrubs, his wife actually was a teacher, and she came to volunteer with him one year and decided she wanted to become a nurse so that she could work with him in the operating room. So she became a nurse, and now she's able to work with her husband. Dr. Shin in the back was the anesthesiologist. She actually is not a member of the Church of Christ, but she sought out Health Talents because of its faith-based, foundation. And she was really awesome. She actually didn't realize that Chris and I were married, and she thought that I just was giving this stranger a hard time in the operating room. And we actually had a laugh about it later. She was like, "Y'all are married?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's why I'm giving him a hard time." So most patients in the operating room underwent spinal anesthesia. It was mainly to help with post-op pain because the medications and stuff that they receive there are oftentimes expired. So you don't always know the efficacy of the medications that they're getting. So the spinal blocks would help with the post-op pain, and then they would also get IV anesthetics along with that for sedation during the procedures. But Chris would oftentimes help Dr. Shin, which that's them there on the left, administer those spinals because you kind of had to hold them still so that she could get into the right space in the spinal canal. And the people would tell Chris with the translator in the room, sometimes Rachel would come in, other translators, And they would tell Chris as he was kind of holding them in place, thank you so much for taking care of us poor Guatemalan people. We don't get this type of care otherwise. And we are just so thankful that you could come and do this for us. And I know one of the, I guess, one of the ladies that does a lot of work with the Children's Feeding Center told us some stories about it. And they were telling us that a lot of the Mayan people were pushed out of their land and the government just left them to figure it out. So they had nothing. And then when they go to get health care, they don't get the same health care that people with money can get. So they were just so thankful, and they would tell us over and over and over again. And then they would say, you know, I see Jesus in you, and I see Jesus in this place. And so it was a really neat experience. And then the picture on the right is Chris. He would help Dr. Shin and the nurse Christina take it, not me. Dr. Smith's wife's also, her name was Christina as well. So we never knew who they were talking to. But he would help the doctor, Dr. Shin, take the patients back to recovery and just make sure that they were okay and, you know, kind of help them do the transition. This was one of the little girls that had, one of the little girls and then a lady, I guess that's that's another little girl that had a procedure. And then in the evenings, because everything was so close, we could walk over to the ward in recovery and see the patients after surgery. And Chris would just go over there and just help them if they needed to get up and walk. He wanted to just go and help. And we couldn't communicate with that we could. And they began singing in the post-op ward, just singing hymns, and we would all sing together. And it kind of brought us together as Christians, and it was really neat. And just the people there were just thankful. You know, Rachel is a really good storyteller, and it was something that we found out while we were there, that she could really tell a story. And Rachel really sold it to us to want to go, and she did a great job. But I can't even find the words to describe our experience there. Even through the words that Rachel gave me, I wish that I could go do that work every day as my job full time, because it really highlights what healthcare providers can do and they can't always do here now. The ability to provide that type of care to our patients. Thank you. I did want to say that this experience also allowed me to build bonds with Rachel and Teresa that I probably ordinarily wouldn't have been able to have, you know, with fellow Christian women. And through our shared experiences, it allowed me to build my faith and, you know, just bonds that I ordinarily wouldn't have been able to have. And it was a really humbling experience. It allowed me to be more open-minded to how we are able to live here, and they have no opportunity to even better their life. And it just made me want to help even more. And while we were there, we ended up picking up, or I guess adopting, one of the ABC children there as well, so that we could help provide an education to her. And one of the stipulations, and I don't know if you were going to mention that, but one of the stipulations for the children to be accepted as an ABC student, or an ABC kid, is they have to go to church and they have to go to school. So in order for them to get in that program and get the support, they have to meet those two qualifications. So anyway, am I turning it over to Teresa next? All right, so she's going to describe what she went through.
My part wasn't as interesting as the OR. I did get to go in and observe, which I would never get that opportunity here, not being a qualified health professional in any sense of the word. So my job, I volunteered as a caregiver. As a caregiver, we just had duties similar to probably, what would they be called here? Like an aide, like a nurse's aide. But because it is very rustic, very different than our hospitals here in all sense of the word. If you've ever seen the movie Pearl Harbor, imagine the big room that they used to have back in the days of the 40s and 50s, I guess here also, where patients are all in one big square room, separated by female, male, children. They tried to do that to keep everybody separate. But so basically, I had the job of changing linens, making sure people had clean bed. What are those things like? They're not robes, but they give them a gown for their stay. And the stays are very short. These people are just amazing, not only because of what they've been through to even get to the point they're at, but also that they have to leave there under circumstances that we have just no idea. They might go through a surgery that we are just struggling with, and we just take days and days, and they have to get in a vehicle or get on a motorcycle and ride home on roads that are just unimaginable after being through what they went through. I'm just amazed at them, and it was an honor to serve them. So my day would consist of, I had the night shift. Out of our group, I was the only one on 4 to 12, which was fine because I'm a night person. But so I would be just helping with just the things that the nurses didn't have time to do, getting people water or helping them get up to go to the restroom or making sure their linens were clean. And also, you could do things there that I guess, I don't know if they're allowed to do in hospitals here, because like I said, I'm not a healthcare professional. But with the children or even adults, you could pray with them, you could read to them, you could sing with them, you could do pretty much anything, and they appreciate everything. Like Christina mentioned, one night after we had dinner, we go, and that's another thing, we would relieve the shifts that we weren't on. We would go during the day, and I would let someone go to lunch, just little things like that. But all the whole dinner shift, that our staff and all that were at dinner all went down into the ward and sang hymns for maybe 30 minutes or so, just walking around, and they join in Spanish or whatever language. And it's just something that, unless you are there to experience it, it's just different than here. So there's lots of opportunities there to talk about God, talk about Jesus. Sorry. This is my night shift there. That's my crew. You can go as young as, how young? Maybe 12 if you were with a parent or whatever. These two young guys their mom's a nurse, and so they volunteered. So they were also caregivers with me. So it was nice to have male and female caregivers to help the patients. And then on the other picture on the right, this young girl, this was the one that had to be transferred, correct, Rachel? Yeah, she had a long few days with us, and then had to actually be transferred for additional health care at another facility. Thankfully, they were able to get her in somewhere else for more. But the dolls and we had some items that we took that the crafters had made for us, some little dresses, and you can see in this, there's one of the dresses that the crafters made. There's also some little boy shorts, and you would think we had just handed them like Christmas morning gift from here. Like, it was always well received. They appreciated it. They were thankful. Sometimes they would want to try them on. Did you want me to go to Chris is going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to Chris. This is the feeding center, which is a lot of fun.
Should I get the best part?
Yeah.
First off, thank you to the elders and the congregation for supporting us to be able to go to this. I've been doing this 36 years, helping people. I've been helping people for 36 years. For whatever reason, God give me that ability to run into burning buildings other people are running out of and running at areas where people are shooting. Thank you. This is life changing right here. These people have nothing. We signed up on the last day, the day before we come home. The last full day that we had in Guatemala. We were able to go to the feeding center and feed about 200 kids. And as you can see, I mean, we're just simple, blowing bubbles with them, letting them play soccer outside. They had a trampoline that we would help them get on and off of. It was amazing. Just touch a picture, Rachel. As you can see, look, you can see all of the kids sitting here. And I mean, they come in when they called them, for time to be fed. They come in, they sit down. I mean, it was no, having to track them down. That's us feeding them or them sitting down to be fed on the left. And these are the three ladies that prepared the meal. And as you can see, that's rice. They get a plate of rice, black beans, and scrambled eggs. So, and they had handmade tortillas, which I had only heard about, but they are really good. This is us helping hand the food out to the people at the center. And I mean, they sit there very patiently. You notice they're waiting. Even after we fed them, they would get up and they would take their own plate and put it to the side. And you can see Christina's little helper there on the right. They got up, they put their plates up, and they went into the sanctuary after they were fed for like a little small Bible study and singing and that type of thing. And then they prayed. Yeah, that's them. That's them in the sanctuary. They prayed for us for safe trips home. Like you said, I mean, this is a life-changing experience, and I want to thank the elders and the congregation for supporting this. Thank you. Did y'all have any questions or anything that the team can answer? And yes, it was one male with 4 females. That was great. It was kind of like herding cats, especially when you have all of the shopping opportunities in the airport and afterwards. So, but I do truly thank you again from me and Christina. This is something that we've wanted to do for a long time, and now that our kids are grown, it opened that opportunity. Thank you.
You'll never see me going with 4 women to an airport, I can tell you. More power to you. That's good stuff. What do you think? Good stuff, wasn't it? Thank you, guys. Thank you for your volunteering, for going. It's well worth it when people can go off. And I want to thank Rachel. She started this, so blame her for all of these years that we did it. Just one more add on to it. I said it earlier, I think it was last month. Christina is going back to what you just saw in this April. So don't forget her as she prepares to go back to that. And I know the church ain't going to forget her. Elders haven't forgotten her. So let's don't forget her either when she goes. Maybe we can help her out and support her in this case. Let's bow and pray before we go home. Our God, our Father in heaven, we are so thankful for you and for your creation that you gave us. We're so thankful that we can live in such a place that we are free from so much evil and stuff that's outside in the world. We're so thankful, Father, that we do have people who volunteer to go to Guatemala and Honduras and to other places throughout, not just country, but throughout the world, to spread more gospel and to reach more people. And not only that, Father, but to show the Christ in you by going and helping those that are less fortunate. We ask you, Father, to continue to be with our mission work here in Cawson Street, continue to help it grow, and continue to help us show the interest in helping others less fortunate than us. we ask you now to be with us and give us safe travel home and bring us back this evening. For this and all things, we pray in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.